boy, you know, in this day and age, it feels so, like, not fun anymore. Everything just doesn't feel fun. And then you watch something like this movie, which, you know what, Mark Begley, you know, I give you the opportunity to program a month, and you take it upon yourself to name it based on, I guess, an actor who shares your last name, eh?
Yep.
Well, you succeeded at the assignment.
Maybe I should change and make them all Mike White movies next month.
Right? Yeah.
You've got a couple of choices, don't you, for Mike White's?
Yeah, at least one.
School of Rock 3 times, 4 times, 5 times.
No, Nacho Libre, dude.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But so on this episode of the Kulturecast, we're kicking off Begleyuary. Let's call it Begleyuary. Begley.
It was
Begleyuary. How's that?
Begley on Begley action is what I was hoping for.
Oh, hot Begley on Begley
of the action.
Yes.
So I am joined by the one and only Mr. Mark Begley of the Wake Up Heavy podcast, and the man who, he has next month, Mike White March, coming soon to a podcast near you, the host of the Projection Booth podcast, Mike White.
Begley on Begley action.
Yeah.
You can handle this, Begley.
Too hot for TV.
It's very hot stuff.
It's boy, isn't it? And speaking of hot stuff, we're talking about a film that does star Ed Begley Jr., but Ed Begley's not the main character, and his character's name is real. I'm just glad they didn't. Transylvania 65000 wasn't on this list, Mike. Let's just take one more opportunity to throw shade on that shit.
Part of the inspiration was least amount of minutes in a movie for an actor.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah. 5-2 in this movie. Jeez, if a full minute.
All 4 movies for this month, I think his total screen time probably amounts to 10 minutes, maybe, but they're fun films. The 2 that I really, really like that I discovered in the last couple of years, this one is a movie I remember from my childhood, and then the Jonathan Demme film is one I hadn't seen, but was really interested in seeing once I checked out the cast list. So you
picked this because you'd seen this before when you were like a kid.
Yeah, I went through his filmography, which is pretty extensive. There's a lot of fun stuff to choose from. I could have gone Spinal Tap. What are some other Amazon Women on the Moon?
Yeah,
Page Master.
Which I was thinking of Amazon Women on the Moon.
I think I know what you're thinking of too. It relates to the scene in this film
exactly,
pretty strongly. Yeah. So I just picked. It was mainly for probably the last 2 films that we're going to do, the more serious films from the 70s that he's in, like barely one scene, and then just kind of picked and choosed some different titles. And this was something that I watched when I was a kid on Wonderful World of Disney, when they played all their old stuff every Sunday night, I think, and always loved the Dexter Riley films and loved it when they replayed them and watched them every time they came on. So I hadn't seen this one. Disney Plus has the other 2, and one is pretty fun. One is kind of a drag, and I wanted to make sure that this one was at least worth spending maybe 45 minutes to an hour on. And I thought it was. I had a good time watching it.
Oh, are they diminishing returns as far as, is it Computer Wore Tennis Shoes is good and Strongest Man in the World is not that good? Or
yeah, I think because when we first got Disney Plus, one of the reasons I wanted to get Disney Plus was for these types of movies and a lot of the other live action films that I remember watching on Wonderful World of Disney, and was disappointed that they weren't all on there. And I don't know if they have plans to release them all.
Yeah, we were complaining that on the North Avenue Regulars episode.
Right. Yeah, like, and that was another reason. That was another reason to kind of do this. Listening to that episode, I was like, well, they're talking a lot about the same kind of of stuff here, and Mike's getting an earful on these films and some of the other ones from that time period. And it's sort of a level. The first two movies are both fairly enjoyable, and then Strongest Man in the World takes a big dive, and that's mainly because Kurt Russell is barely in it. Ooh. And I remember reading that when we signed up for Disney Plus, and when I was looking at some of those live action films to watch, and I think he was starting to age out of it and do some other stuff, and he wasn't as available as he was. And it's pretty much all Joe Flynn in that one. He ends up being the star, and there's a little bit too much of Joe Flynn in this one at a certain point, which is what makes the movie drag in the middle.
That's a nice way of putting it.
So Joe Flynn, a pretty entertaining guy.
He is pretty funny.
Yes, but like you just said, there could be too much of that kind of thing.
I wish I could do a really good impersonation of him because he's got such a distinct voice. And as soon as he came on, I was like, oh, this is the dude from The Rescuers and The Girl Most Likely To. It's just like all of these things like I hadn't thought of in years just based on that voice.
Yeah. And the funny thing to me was when I was watching this the first time, and then I watched it again with my daughter, I was looking at the IMDb stuff and noted his age, and he was around 47 when this was filmed. And I was just like, oh, he looks like he's in his early 60s. And maybe they did some stuff with the hair, but still, I'm like, these guys look so old in this. I'm older than him by a good number of years than he was when they filmed that.
That he passed away when he was 49. He didn't live that many years after this. I don't even think. Well, when did World's Strongest Man come out?
Because so that was, I think, a couple years later, maybe either 74 or 75.
Yeah, he died in 74. So he probably that was probably his last film that he ever acted in.
It was The Rescuers, the movie you already mentioned, but he drowned. Okay.
Wow. Yeah. That's kind of strange, especially that he was in McGill's Navy.
Yeah, wow. He had a heart attack while swimming and he drowned. I mean,
that poor guy.
But that's still, I mean, Jesus, of all the places to have a heart attack, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, boy.
Well, he must have been living pretty high on the hog because he definitely looked much older, and that probably contributed to his heart attack.
Yeah.
So this movie is, it's a TV movie. It's directed by Robert Butler, and like we've kind of already mentioned a little bit, stars Kurt Russell, and this is his second time as this character, Dexter Riley. And in this movie, he invents invisibility by accident, I guess. He doesn't really invent it. The universe makes it, and he profits off it. And, that's essentially... that's the kind of the framing device is they invent something and then they have to figure out how to save their school by getting $50,000 with the invisibility serum that they could just take and sell for much more than $50,000 and be perfectly fine. Yeah. It was just, I love these kinds of Disney movies because they do have a quaint logic to them that is so, quaint. It's like, yeah, we're going to save the school by competing in this science fair as opposed to just going and patenting this shit and selling it to the highest bidder and making hundreds of millions of dollars.
You could partner with Arno and, take place with, help him out with his crimes.
Right.
I'm sure it was a lot more than $50,000 that he was hauling away from that bank.
Right. It, obviously, this movie has shades of Flubber. This whole kind of series takes place at Medfield College, which is where the original Flubber takes place. So it has that kind of like using science in kind of a wacky way feel, which is the whole thing in the middle of the movie where it kind of drags with the golf competition.
Right.
Which the
two golf competitions. That's what got me. The first one was enjoyable because you've got the invisibility action going on, and there's some cool sight gags and stuff in there. But the second one, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
No, they are being dead serious. it drags on for like what feels like 15 minutes. I don't know if it actually is 15 minutes, but I mean, at one point I was just thinking to myself, like, it was funny the first time, I guess, but at this point, like, you have taken the, you know, like beating a horse to death. At this point, the horse is being turned into dog food. Like, you've got to stop at some point, because this is kind of the moment where the joke has gone too far, when you've devoted a good half of your second act to it. It's like, Jesus Christ. You have Kurt Russell in this movie. Just put him on screen, doing anything, literally anything.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher.
Just to back up a little bit, this actually wasn't a made-for-TV movie, though it was shown on Wonderful World of Disney. They actually showed these things theatrically when they came out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. But it feels like one, and that director was mainly, you know, from television.
Right.
And
Jesus. Okay.
it's got that kind of flat Disney-fied.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you fault me for thinking it's a TV movie?
No.
That whole second act feels like it's just spinning its wheels, like just
Literally.
yeah, boy. Well, and then you couple that with like a really cool third act. Like, genuinely, it's an impressive third act, any way you cut it. Shades of the Wizard of Speed and Time, even. I saw a little bit of the Mike Jitlov thing going on here. I saw a little, and some of the effects that they were doing were a little Mike Jitlov-esque adjacent, but it's so strange how the second act kind of just takes the pace of the movie and puts it firmly at a halt. Just stops the movie in its tracks.
I don't mind it. I kind of like it. And I kind of like that he's getting his comeuppance, since he's so full of himself that he thinks he's such a great golfer. And those frickin' pants. And when he starts to show the real golf pros how he hits the ball, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but that's like in the first 2 minutes of that scene.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's
it
the issue. It just goes, yeah. I think it was have one or the other, but not both, I think is kind of my...
Yeah, two right on top of each other. It's like the same day or the very next day or something like that.
That was, I think, the more surprising part was that...
We're so impressed by your golf prowess that we're going to ship you off to this tournament where only two other people are playing and they're both pros. And it was an interesting plot device, which didn't serve a whole lot of purpose for the movie other than they still have the same problem. He doesn't win the 100,000 or whatever it was for the golf tournament, so they're in the same boat that they were before. It just seems like an odd writing choice to have those two right next to each other. But like I said, the first golf scene is fun because you get some of those simple in-camera effects that sort of flummoxed me. A lot of them, like how are they doing that? And even before that, and that was one of the things that I thought, if this is really super cheesy and the effects are just awful, this might be just a mess to talk about. But I was seriously, and maybe you guys have an answer for this, seriously flummoxed by a couple of them. And early on, when they're breaking into Arno, AJ Arno, the baddie of the films, I think in all three of the Dexter Riley films, played by Cesar Romero, he's always up to something, and they break into his office building, and Skylar and Dexter Riley have both been sprayed with the invisibility spray, but Skylar walks through water, so his shoes reappear. And that little walking bit with his feet kind of going like that, it was obviously not green screen, but I was like, how are they doing that? Because usually when it's strings in a movie, like you think of the old scary movies where they're floating stuff on string, it's kind of like, where, you can tell it's strings.
But it had do some of that here.
It had yes, for which they do. It had a real, not necessarily smooth, but a real distinct motion. And I was like, how in the world are they doing that? And when I watched it with my daughter the second time, she's like, it kind of looks like stop motion to me. And I was like, So I don't know. It was curious. I'm like, are they doing something underneath the floor? Is there something manipulating from above that I just can't see? I don't know. But that kept me kind of interested in the film itself as far as the special effects goes, because the invisibility stuff, for the most part, is pretty bad.
Pretty what, Mark?
Oh, my fingers are gone.
Right.
Yeah.
They just put a piece of green, instead of like masking or putting on an actual a headpiece that's green. It's like they just put a piece of green in front of their face, so everything's cut off.
Oh yeah.
My favorite is when the hand comes into frame, and it's like, my fingers. It's like the hand goes out of frame. It's like this disembodied hands coming in.
The
and
optical
out of frame.
effects.
Yeah,
I love it when you can see it's like a total shift in viewpoint, and
the quality just goes down completely. Yeah,
it gets all grainy, and then the hand floats in.
Right, the hand's clear. Yeah,
they don't really look at it correctly either. They're kind of looking through it, or they're kind of not looking through it. They're like looking where they think it is, not through it. So like, oh my, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Oh, how far we've come.
Boy, isn't that? Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, that's what makes it fun, I think, is it's got that little bit of, look, when this is made. It's clearly from 72. So it's got that little bit of
50 years old.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, it was probably in 75, 76. I was 6 or 7 and totally bought it. Right. There was a show around that same time called The Invisible Man. I think it only lasted like half a season with David McCallum, and I just ate that show up. I was just completely blown away by the special effects. He would take off a mask, he would have a mask like Mission Impossible style thing, and then he would take it off and his head would disappear, and I was like, oh my God, how do they do that? So I'm sure I bought this hook, line, and sinker when I watched it when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't remember ever having seen this, and until you brought it up, I had never even heard the name. I had heard of the other 2 Dexter Riley films, and I think I might have seen Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, but I wouldn't be able to tell you anything about it. So I was very surprised when you brought this up, and watching the movie, I was delighted. I really enjoyed this, and to see so many great actors and so many small roles, like when Ed Begley Jr. shows up, I'm like, wow, okay, this is nice. And so many great faces and these character actors, and then when Cesar Romero shows up, I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. So I was all about this movie, and now to the point where I'm like, oh, the other 2 Dexter Rileys are on Disney Plus. Okay, sign me up. Let's do that, and let's see some of these other ones where Russell didn't play that character, but similar characters.
There was the Barefoot Executive. Is he in Superdad? No. What's the other one?
But I think Begley is in Superdad. I'm surprised you didn't request that one.
Kurt Russell's in Superdad.
Is he?
Yeah.
It's funny whenever that comes up, that, and I think it's just an urban legend. Disney's last words or the last thing he wrote down was Kurt Russell's name, and everybody makes it seem all spooky. And I'm like, do you realize that he was in like a billion Disney movies back then? This is it's not a huge mystery if he were to have written his name down on a piece of paper. Oh, that Kurt Russell kid, what should we put him in next?
Right.
Anyway.
But I will tell you, as someone who has not seen this version of Kurt Russell, it's not surprising that this actor has been working in Hollywood for the past 50 plus years. He had it then, like I mean, he has a screen presence even at 21, 22, at whatever age he is now. I mean, he has a great screen presence even as like a young kid. So it's I think a lot of people always forget that Kurt Russell did a lot more than just everything John Carpenter, I guess, for a while. There's more to Kurt Russell than just Snake Plissken, I guess, is more what I'm getting at. Or McCready from The Thing.
Of course, I'm thinking of Snake Plissken when he's got his half glasses and stuff, and he's covering his eye, and I'm just like, oh, the origins of Snake Plissken.
We're only a couple years away, folks.
Yep, you gotta lose that eye there, kid.
A couple years down the road, he was, in that Elvis movie, which almost became the pick if this was a dud. And, and that started that whole thing. So... yeah, that's another one of the effects that I really enjoyed. There were just nice little touches where it felt like some thought was put into things. When he first discovers that, or is discovering that the solution works now, and drops things into that bowl, which inexplicably doesn't disappear. Drops his glasses in. And I told my daughter, I'm like, pay attention to this when he puts his glasses on. So he does that kind of like, oh, I got to, go around my ear. And a little piece of his hair moved, like he was actually putting the frames on. And I was like, that's a nice touch. That's the kind of stuff that later on they didn't really concern themselves with too much. But you get that through the film. And towards the end, especially with the car crashes and racing and stuff, there's a lot of neat, simple effects that are, I think, quite effective.
Well, they went through every single backlot gag in the final act of the movie. Here's a pane of glass. Here's a stop. Here's the long-armed goon thing. Here's the what's the other thing? The ladder. I mean, they have like
the
every
ladder,
gag.
the glass.
Every gag. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it works. But I was gonna say the end of this movie, the invisible car chase scene, is pretty great. It's pretty. I wouldn't say it completely holds up now, but I think it holds up enough where if you're not looking too hard, you can still kind of get wrapped up in it. I mean, it still works enough. Like you said, Mark, they don't necessarily uphold the quality standard that they did throughout the rest of the movie but that's, I think, because it's also like rapid fire effects, right? God only knows how many effect shots they had for the last kind of car chase in the film. Must have been a lot. It was a lot. It had to have been.
You get multiple fences being crashed through, a barn being crashed through. I just liked trying to be uncynical about it and going, oh, that was pretty effective. I'm seeing smoke along the road where this invisible car is supposed to be, or dust, not smoke. It's kicking up dust behind the tires. I'm like, that's neat. How did they achieve that? Crashing through fences that are kind of like breakaway fences, and that spot with the ladder and the plane of glass, and they get pretty close to those stunt guys on the street there, and one does a nice pirouette.
Yeah, the guy pirouetting with the ladder. Yes, I'm glad you noticed that as well. I was worried for that stuntman's safety. Yeah. My Lord, that was really close. It helped sell it though. I mean, that's dangerous stuff. Good God.
And the buggy ride through the park with him on the back, and they go over a bump, and he just about gets thrown over the roll bar. And I was like, okay, Disney, kind of pushing it here with your safety requirements, but I like it.
Kind of weird. One of the guys who did special effects for this, Danny Lee, who's not the Hong Kong actor, he had done a ton of effects, mostly, of course, on Disney films, including The Black Hole, which, is a little bit different than like World's Greatest Athlete, Snowball Express. But he got his start working on Bonnie and Clyde. So kind of interesting.
Huh.
There's some bullet work in here.
Yeah, there's some guns.
Ricochets.
Yeah. Cesar Romero uses guns and shoots at people. Cesar Romero's
at kids.
Great. Yeah. I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff, admittedly. Like, I've never even seen him as the Joker until like today, when I was like, I should probably look this up.
He's pretty great. I love that he refused to shave that mustache for the Joker, and it took me years to realize that he had a mustache.
It is.
I know. I don't think I ever noticed that as a kid.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest troll job in the history of mankind. Just paint your mustache white.
Yeah,
Jesus
I love it.
Christ. What's funny is if you see like a Funko Pop of his Joker, it has like the textured mustache painted white. It's like even there,
great.
We need to make sure Cesar Romero's like glorious mustache is taken care of. He's great. He brings like a level of class to this. To this movie. Not that it needs it, with Kurt Russell and a ton of character actors. So
yeah, including our friend William Wyndham, who we just talked about on The Shabby Detective.
That's right.
Yep, I love it when he shows up. Every time he shows up, I'm like, Cleo, it's Doc.
He's so
Murder
good.
She Wrote. So because we watch that almost every night before we go to sleep.
Another Lincoln Levinson connection there. Nice.
And who else pops up? Jim Backus for a little bit.
Yeah.
Mike Evans, who was one of the Lionels on.
Oh, yeah. That was so great when he showed up. I was like, oh, is that Lionel?
Yeah. And then Kurt's dad is in these. He's one of Arno's henchmen. Larry Gelman.
Frank Welker, but, rarely gets to be
Welker.
in front of it.
I was looking for him.
And Edward Andrews.
Edward Andrews.
Grandpa from 16 Candles.
Yeah. As soon as she showed up, I was like, okay, now we're getting serious.
And then that old guy, really old man. Oh, what's his name? I wrote it down somewhere. Burt Mustin. He's just been in everything. He's in tons of Disney movies, but he's just one of the crowd in that first golf scene. I think he might be the guy that gets hit by the ball in the back, or he's near there.
Oh God!
And he was. I remember him from Andy Griffith, and probably all these Disney movies when I watched them when I was a kid and stuff. And that guy's. Stunt.
Who was Cesar Romero's number 2? Because that guy looked really familiar. His nephew,
Richard Bacalian.
Okay, thank you.
Who was in Chinatown? He's one of the cops.
Okay.
I forget the main guy's name.
He was in Robin and the Seven Hoods.
Jake Gittes?
Robbo's Hood number 1.
The guy that's always on Jake's ass in that. He's one of his cohorts.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think he even... Yes, Loach. That's right. He did some voice work, I think, on a couple of Disney movies as well. And he's in all these, in all the Dexter Riley ones, I believe, because Cesar Romero's in all of them, always trying to get whatever it is that they've discovered or stumbled upon. And there is a through line in a lot of them where it's usually accidental that the great creation is made and computer wore tennis shoes. And in this one, it's because of lightning striking. I don't recall if it's the same. I was going to watch Strongest Man in the World again, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But, and that one takes, like I say, the same course where in the middle of the film, it becomes the Joe Flynn show, and we get multiple scenes of him after he's eaten this cereal that's been tainted with the strength solution. And it wears after a while. He is great, but it becomes kind of pratfall-y slapstick comedy of errors type stuff, which can be grating for me.
Well, I was gonna say, with these 3 movies, the characters there are just finding these things by accident, which makes it. I guess is that more interesting? Is that less interesting? Because there's part of it that's does Kurt Russell's character really matter? Right? I don't know. It's such an interesting narrative device. Does it help the narrative or does it hurt the narrative to have it be like a accident every time? Also, why does the school have a hard time getting funding? They're fucking inventing all this shit out of the blue. Fun. This is the school that had Flubber too, right? I'm sorry, folks. Why is the school having a hard time finding money?
Well, this definitely rides the coattails of those Absent-Minded Professor films. It's pretty much repurposed for maybe a younger age group. And I don't mean the young like kid. I mean teen. Let's get the teens in.
I wonder if they were also the target audience for all the Dean Jones films, because he was the other big staple. You talked Fred McMurray with the Absent-Minded Professor, but then you had all the Dean Jones with the Shaggy DA, and was it Shaggy Detective, and maybe
the dog one?
Cat from Outer Space or something. I know he was just in a ton. He was the other Mr. Disney for a long time.
Yeah.
That's the one the Shaggy DA is the one about the dog, right?
Right, yeah. It's the one that I think Tim Allen was in the remake.
Robert Downey Jr.
Wow.
Robert Downey Jr. plays the villain in that movie. Yeah, it was the dark times for Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
the real dark times.
The drug dealer had to get paid.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a Republican now because I've been to prison. What the fuck kind of logic is that? Yeah, that was yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to think the motivate or what propels these is it's pretty formulaic. This happens by accident. Arno discovers it somehow, or he has some other ploy to make money, and it all revolves around this poor little college that can't catch a break, it seems. And yeah, I kind of wish I had watched The Strongest Man in the World so I could see if those same kind of plot points are reused in that one. I tend to think that they probably are.
Well, I'm just glad that they haven't remade this movie into a movie with Robin Williams, I guess. I don't know. What's weird is like these never got remade. Isn't that kind of strange to think?
One of them did.
Strange? Which one?
One of them did with Kirk Cameron, and I can't remember which one it is.
The computer wore tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah.
Well, that would be why I don't know about that one.
What, you're not rushing out to see every Kirk Cameron film that there is?
What was that stupid Kirk Cameron film we watched for? Or I don't think that was the one. Is that the one that we did for Body Swap? Or did I just watch it like an idiot?
Like Father, Like Son, right?
Like Father, Like Son with Dudley Moore. Yeah, that movie wasn't bad. It was kind of enjoyable.
No, it was before Kirk sold his soul.
Also that. That movie has Dean Jones in it. That remake does.
How funny.
Also has Eddie Deason in it.
Oh, boy.
Eddie.
Oh, boy is right.
Talk about another Republican. Yeah.
Also, talk about somebody who I would rather not ever see in my movies just because his voice makes me...
You don't like him?
No. In 1941, he's somehow the worst
He's the best part of
movie.
1941.
No. Lies. I will not stand here and be sold a bill of lies by you about Eddie Deason. My God.
He's honestly the only thing I like about that movie.
Oh.
Him and, the mayor from Jaws up in that Ferris wheel.
Yeah, that's right. God.
I'm going to drop what was he dropping? Grapefruit?
Yeah. What a strange movie. What a strange Spielberg movie. Okay. Fine.
Ooh, it was too much Zemeckis.
That movie.
Oh.
Oh, God.
I think we've had this discussion before, but I saw that in the theater and I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
I saw it in the theater too. I don't know if I was that in love at the time, but watching it later, because I was like, I remember liking this movie, and I watched when they restored it and they put in all the extra bits, and I was like, oh my God. This is awful.
I haven't seen it in years, so I
mean, the Nancy Allen part's pretty darn good, but that's about it.
Say, Father Malone's a fan of that movie, so...
Oh, I'm sure he is.
I think I was just sold on all the SNL
seen it,
people.
Chris.
I have never seen it. I have seen 1941. Thank you very much. Oh, my God.
Well, another reason to do this one was to kind of get back at you, Chris, for the Disney original month.
Oh, boy.
That we were all involved in.
These are the Disney originals. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For you guys, but they're no different than mine. They're no different. They're no different. I failed to see how this is really any different than the things we watched last year. How is it? I would
watch this 100 times in a row before I watched Camp Rock again.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure. But again, to my point, there are plenty of people that are saying that about Camp Rock that wouldn't say that about this.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of perspective. It's all content for kids. It just happens to be. I mean, this is a kids movie, is it not? Like,
yeah, I was surprised.
It is a kids movie. I don't know what else you would call it.
Yeah, they are, and
I would agree with you that this is more my speed of kids movie than Camp Rock. This seems less like it's trying to sell me a CD.
Right.
But you know what? That's fine. It clearly was successful in its own right. So, but I would rather watch something like this, hands down. I'd probably even rather watch the Kirk Cameron one than Camp Rock.
It's funny because I was thinking, I always have in my head, that these movies came later in Disney's career, and looking at it just today briefly, I was like, oh no, they were making live action films from early on and put out tons of movies a year, mostly like historical or adventure things, Treasure Island and stuff like that. And then that had a list by decade of Disney films, and there would be 3 animated films per decade and then like dozens of live action. I was like, oh man, they were doing this forever. But it's curious to watch kind of the evolution of those, where we had the adventure stuff in the 50s and maybe early 60s, and then it becomes these high concept movies like Absent Minded Professor all the way through this stuff in the 70s. And then of course with the change in the heads of the company in the 80s, where we actually start getting into some like seriously good movies. But yeah, they've been cranking out live action for years. And I just thought it was like, well, let's do this in between animation since those take so long. Let's just throw this stuff together. We'll use our studio lot and buildings in, all Medfield College is the animation studio buildings, and they probably use some other backlots of Paramount or somebody. And not to say that they're just all cheap money grabs, but it feels like that's a part of a lot of these, the ones that, like probably Strongest Man in the World, where they weren't so caring about the story, and Kurt Russell wasn't available, so let's just do this as cheap as possible and get it in the theater. And then we'll make our money back when we show it on Wonderful World of Disney with all of our ad sales and blah, blah, blah. So,
and what's funny is Disney doesn't make live action movies anymore. Like, well, let me rephrase that. They do. They just don't make them as Disney movies. They make them as Marvel and Star Wars movies. I mean, wasn't there like this whole moratorium from Disney a couple years ago where they were like, we're not making live action anymore? Tron Legacy was a bomb. John Carter of Mars, from Mars, or the fuck it was called, John Carter of Mars was a bomb. Was that whole thing?
They ended up just calling it John Carter,
right?
But and then that horrible George Clooney one. What was it? Tomorrowland or Futureland or whatever.
Tomorrowland.
That was bad.
They were like, we're done. I'm not making this up, right? They were like, we're not making live action for a while because they like tabled the Tron 3, which is just now being finally made.
Oh boy, really? They're doing that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I want
man,
a third Tron movie, but I don't want a Jared
bad.
Leto Tron movie. Like,
no, the second one was so bad, man. I mean, I love Jeff Bridges, but he was just the dude in The Matrix.
Right. Which is exactly what his character was in Tron, don't you remember?
No, that's what I'm saying. He was the dude in The Matrix. It was like, wait, no, Flynn wasn't this character. Come on, Jeff, don't you remember?
No, he's one with the Force now.
Oh, wow. That was bad.
I'm actually a little disappointed, Mark. You had the opportunity to make us watch The Shaggy Dog with Ed Begley Jr. as one of the leads, and you chose not to.
Yeah, I don't have the
stomach
nostalgia connection so much with that one. It really was the Dexter Riley. The Dexter Riley movies really hit a chord with me when I was a kid. I don't know. I just remember always loving it when they would re-show them, and which they did pretty often. So I saw them at least a couple of times each back then, enough to remember specific scenes and things like that, even 40 years later, 50 years almost later. So the other stuff I don't recall so much. Escape to Witch Mountain and To Return From, and those I remember pretty strongly too, but it really was the Dexter Riley films. I don't know why. And I wouldn't have known anything about Ed Begley back then, so.
Right.
Don't know why you wouldn't. He makes such a memorable appearance in here.
Right. Covered
especially when he's wearing his glasses and his head's all wrapped up like a balloon.
Yeah. His head is just too big for that.
I love it.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah. He's not given much to do, but he's good enough.
He has a little tiny scene in The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes where he's one of the other contestants on this, quiz bowl type thing that they do. So he has even less time in that. But yeah, I mean, I guess at some point I discovered, there's a famous person out there with my last name, and it's not a common last name. I think when I was growing up, there was one other person in our town in the phone book with our last name. It increased as the years went on, but it's just, I mean, Chris, you would understand this. Mike, probably not so much, but when you don't see your name very often, whenever you do, it kind of tickles you a little bit. So
yeah,
I think St. Elsewhere is when I really was like, oh yeah, man. And, I'd probably seen movies with his dad and stuff, but just wasn't paying attention to the credits really. And it's not like when I discovered there was a famous actor or an actor with the same last name, I just got all into his career or anything like that. But it just always makes me, it tickles me when I see him pop up, like in things like Spinal Tap. The first time I watched that, I had no idea he was in that. And he just pops up for a minute. And, so figured, why not?
Why wouldn't you understand that, Mike? Is your name something so common or so? I don't understand.
So common, yeah.
So common.
Well, I do do get a thrill when my original name comes up at times, so that's good.
Well, you know what they say, just if you can parlay your name being misidentified for someone else for good, that's not a bad thing. Oh, you're that Mike White?
All right.
Love to talk to you.
Wrong number.
Yeah. So, Mike, would you skip or watch this movie?
Oh, I would definitely watch it. Like I said, I want to watch these other Dexter Riley films now.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. Begley?
I'll watch it again. And I do plan on getting to Strongest Man in the World again. And I'd like to track down some of the other ones, like Barefoot Executive. And I'm pretty sure I watched that one. That's the one with the monkey, I think.
I think you're right, yeah.
And a couple of the other ones that I don't remember. I think I all thought he was the same character in them when I watched them as a kid. Because I was surprised that there were only 3 Dexter Riley films. But yeah, I would watch it and I would recommend it. And if you can find, I mean, you can rent this one, and anybody out there that's listening, and the other 2 are on Disney Plus.
And the remake of the Dexter Riley film, The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, was the 1995 remake was directed by none other than Peyton Reed, guy who would go on to replace Edgar Wright in Ant-Man, and now has directed some episodes of The Mandalorian. It's kind of weird how it works out that way, huh?
Yeah, that is weird.
Good for him, because that's a long way to come from directing Kirk Cameron in a remake of a Kurt Russell film from '69.
Yeah.
So that's I liked this movie. I would be interested to see the other 2. Obviously, tempering my expectations with the third one, but I would like to see both of. I would watch this again. I enjoyed it. And I would like to see the first one. And again, I like Kurt Russell, so this is not much of a hard sell. Kurt Russell's great in, like, everything. There's a reason the Fast and the Furious movies just cast him, because they were like, he's a good actor. Like, let's just, people like him. There's a reason John Carpenter and him worked together and made, some of the greatest 80s action movies of all time. 80s movies, period. So he's a natural talent. He really is. And he makes it look effortless, even at, like, 22. Jesus Christ, I wish I did anything this well. Like, as well as just to him, just acting, just being a natural, just charismatic talent. So, it's always funny to see him in this, because if you're someone my age, you kind of tend to forget that he had this kind of whole other early 20s, or late teens career. So, but this was a good one. I had never seen him, Mark, but this was one of the things where I always wanted to. So, yeah, it's always
I think he was in one of your Elvis movies that you did for Elvis Month. I may be mistaken, though. I forget which one he was in.
I don't think it's one of the ones we did, but I know he's in one of them.
Yeah, which is just kind of makes me chuckle every time I see that little scene.
Right.
It's like, you're going to play him in a couple of decades, or whatever. I was probably 15 years or something.
Was it It Happened at the World's Fair?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it that one? Yeah, I'm not really sure. So I've seen that clip a handful of times.
It's been a while since
he kicks him or something. Yeah. Kicks him in the shin or something like that.
It happened at the World Fair. Boy kicking Mike, uncredited cameo.
Mike, he's named Mike again. Wasn't he named Mike in that Acapulco one we watched?
Yeah.
And then Kurt Russell would go on to play Mike in Death Proof.
Yeah, Stuntman Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I managed to pull that out of the air. I wasn't looking at IMDb. I'm so proud of myself.
I would have never remembered that.
Stuntman Mike.
No, I'm talking about It Happened at the World's Fair.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm impressed by that one. That's a good one.
I would have had no idea what that was either.
Yeah.
Actually, Kurt Russell played Elvis twice. Apparently, Kurt Russell did the voice for Elvis in Forrest Gump as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he played Elvis again, Elvis impersonator in 3,000 Miles to Graceland.
Right.
That's right.
God.
At least that was a decent impersonation of Elvis, as opposed to whoever it was that did John Lennon's voice in Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy if you try, Dick. Like, what?
I'm Australian.
Right.
Very confusing.
What the fuck just happened?
But, again, I love Kurt Russell. I think we all do. I think if you're a fan of movies, you're probably a fan of Kurt Russell. So
check it out. And check it out for Ed Begley for 2 whole minutes. He gets some good lines in there, and he's got his nerdy glasses on. I always thought that his lisp, or that mouth thing, I always thought that was a more recent deal, but he's had that forever. I realized as I was watching this, I'm like, I never noticed that. In all those years I watched St. Elsewhere, never noticed that little mouth deal.
With his foppish hair.
Yeah, man, he's got a great head of hair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he still does.
Yeah. Lucky bastard.
Yeah. Some people get to keep that shit.
Curses.
On that
I guess I'm from a different line of the family. I apparently didn't get to keep mine. So
Ed Begley Sr. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You know how those people are. Yeah.
They're the other side, the side we don't talk about.
Yeah.
So, on that note, let's take a break and we'll play a preview for next week's episode.
What you are about to see is illegal in 47 states.
The black chicken.
I'll take 25 to 30.
I'll take it.
You're on. I'll lay 25 to 30. 25 30 on the red.
I'll lay 30 to 20.
25 30 there. Anybody got it?
Oh, you got it. 50 to 30. On the black. I got the black crystal.
You want to know something, boy? I am the finest trainer and conditioner in the whole world.
All right, let's go.
Cockfighting, the dirtiest sport in the world.
Get ready. Hit.
Now watch your face. No pity, no love, nothing.
Oh, wow. Hey, listen, Mr. Mansfield, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't bring no cash with me. I was so sure I was going to win and everything. But listen, I got some money at home. I got a lot of it. I'm going to bring it back as soon as I get home.
Frank Mansfield, professional with a passion for violence.
I want to get married and have children.
The drive in it is to be the best. I like to call it sharpness.
Not since the hustler has the violent underbelly of the gambling world been so nakedly exposed. What kind of a man risks everything in America's most controversial blood sport? The kind who will do anything to win.
It's the desire to win.
I'm not going to wait for you forever.
Winning is the name of the game.
This is a stick up. Hands over your heads. Anybody who moves gets their head blasted off.
Blam! And he knocks off the young rooster. And he says, damn it, that's the third faggot rooster I had this week.
I got the finest 5-pound chicken alive, Jack. Right here in my hands, the very finest.
I think that bird has more of a heart than you ever will have.
Anything that can fight to the death and not utter a sound, well, winning is the name of the game.
Arno's Cockfighter. Rated R.
On next week's episode, we're going to be talking about Cockfighter, as Ed Begley Jr.
There you go. Is that next week's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I sure hope so, because it's on the calendar.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Citizens Band then Cockfighter. I knew Hardcore was last. I didn't. I just spoiled all the titles.
Oh no.
That's what's coming up, folks.
Have to bleep all of that out.
Right.
More Begley on Begley.
Stop saying the N-word, Mark. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh,
I've got a story about that I can tell you. But
we didn't mention the Amazon Women on the Moon connection.
no,
Mike.
you're right.
So there's a little bit with Skylar, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to spray you, Skylar. And it's like very, very scientific. It's like, okay, Skylar's going to move these objects and he's going to talk the whole time so that you are aware that he's there. And yeah, he sprays them and Skylar doesn't go invisible. And then, yeah, go ahead, Mark. Take it from here.
He just does the little bit like, I am holding this vase. You can't see me, but it is me. And doing that really exaggerated voice. And I was like, wait a minute. I've seen something like this before, and I think it involves Ed Begley Jr. And I was like,
blimey, how is that happening?
He plays the Invisible Man in a little bit of Amazon Women on the Moon and runs around naked because he's not actually invisible.
That's where I thought the bit in this movie was going to go, and they didn't do that.
Yeah, there were some things where I was just like, okay, well, if you eat something while you're invisible, but you didn't spray it, are we going to see it? Is it bending the light around it? Like the whole thing with the money bags. But I was glad that they kind of explained that it's around the object. You're not actually seeing through it.
Right. So, I liked that. That was another thing I wanted to mention, that refraction, that idea of refraction. That's kind of the concept of invisibility cloaks and whatnot. And I was like, okay.
And the Elizabeth Moss Invisible Man with all those cameras and
right. Yeah.
James
so
Bond,
it makes sense.
The Invisible Car and Die Another Day.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually all the cameras thing. That's like it's not projecting. It's projecting back what you're seeing or what you would be seeing on the other side or
right.
some shit like that.
I heard about a building. Oh God. Oh, I was watching a travel show and they were talking about a building someplace in like, I don't know, Sri Lanka or something where it's like, oh, we're going to use this technology and make this building invisible. And I'm like, that sounds like the worst idea in the world. Can you imagine how many birds are going to die because of that? It's going to be worse than all of the people that get brain cancer from the windmills.
Or planes that crash into it if it's a high rise or whatever.
Exactly.
We're just making it look invisible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're protecting the skyline.
We have the technology. Sure. This is what we're using the technology for.
Yeah, very dumb things.
God.
The Bursakoff invisibility solution.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make him go crazy. Oh my God.
All the chicks love Bursakoff.
So Mr.
It was fun though. All those little things. I was just gonna say when he was dipping the stuff in there, I liked how it disappeared into the solution, and it was, that kind of stuff just tickled me.
I
like when he tapped his glasses against the bowl, and you heard the noise. That's nice.
Simple stuff that you don't have to, do too much with. Get too involved. It sells it.
Well, and I'm a fan of cheaper, not cheaper gags, but just subtle things. Like not everything has to be a giant car chase.
Right. Like moving the hair over your ear when you put your glasses on. That kind of stuff.
Make the most of what you're given, which was probably not very much. So.
Yeah. Make it simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly. Uh-huh. So, on that note, where can people find you if they were looking, Mr. Mark Begley?
You can find me at wakeupheavy.com, and I am on social media as at wakeupheavy, I believe, across those things. And you should be able to find the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And I have nothing scheduled for this month because I'm going to be here all month, and I don't want to overexert myself.
Right. That's very fair. What about you, Mike?
Here, I thought you meant your room.
Yeah, well, I'm
going to be here on this couch.
Right.
All month.
That's not that far off.
War is lava. I'm not moving.
There's the bucket in the corner. I can access it with a stick.
Yeah, there's a baby on my ceiling. I'm just here kicking heroin.
Wow.
For me, you can find me at the Projection Booth Podcast, which is available at projectionboothpodcast.com. And yeah, I'm on social media as well, but don't follow me there. I just say embarrassing things.
I don't know. I don't think it's embarrassing. I think people like to take offense at the things you say, the funny things you say.
Thank you.
I think your stuff's funny. I just think you're more frank on social media than people are used to.
Are you saying I'm a funny guy?
Yeah. Funny how? Like a clown. How have we gone an episode yet without making a Goodfellas reference this year?
Nope.
It feels like we haven't.
The whole time.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Fuck you, pay me.
Fuck him. Fuck him in the ear. Fuck. I want my money. I want my money. God, Maury. Oof. What a character. As for me, cstachiw.com, cstachiw.com. That's my link tree for all the things I work on with Mike and Mark and everybody. Whatever. That's where you can go to do that.
Whatever. I'm easy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Kulturecast.com, patreon.com/Kulturecast. Thank you to all the patrons. Mark, thank you for helping program the month. I mean, this first outing. I'm assuming the rest will be as good, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
They're better films, objectively speaking. I think.
And
there's a little more meat to them. There's not more Begley, but there's more meat.
I don't think from what you've said, there's not going to be much Begley.
There's not.
And Mike, thank you for joining us as always. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next episode.